if your goal is to be viewed as highly as possible, then for heaven's sake, please don't tell people how great you are. Arrogance is a cancer of today's society. So, just to be clear, before I get into how you can go about getting people to view you positively, I first want to say that that's not actually the thing that is worthwhile pursuing. And through a pursuit of something parallel, you will end up achieving it. So the goal should not be to be viewed positively by other people, but rather to be viewed positively in the eyes of God. Now, before you click off, if you're not a religious person, this is not supposed to be religious. If you are religious, you can take this as in a religious way. And if you're not religious, take this in the way that I would take it, in that God meaning the intersection of all that which is good, the ideal, the highest virtue. So the goal here is to be viewed positively in the eyes of God, in the eyes of the ideal, in the eyes of the highest virtue. This is what we strive towards. And this highest virtue is, by definition, at the pinnacle. And so it is the one true judge. And that's who we should direct ourselves towards God. Okay? And religious people would just say God, but I want to go further and clarify what I mean by God. And God then being the intersection of all that which is morally good, the highest ideal, the highest virtue. So this is the judgment that matters, the judgment of God. That's what should be important to us, not the judgment of other people. But with this being said, relationships are a massive part of our lives. And in order to pursue this highest ideal, we need to have positive relationships, not just instrumentally en route to aligning ourselves with the ideal, but also pursuing positive relationships, healthy, productive relationships for their intrinsic value. So not just as an instrumental means to help us move in alignment with God, but because the very act of having positive relationships it's in itself an alignment in some way or another with God. Okay, so it doesn't help us in indirect ways. It actually aligns us in one way or another directly with God or with the highest ideal. And so it is still worth our while to pursue positive relationships and to try and be viewed as positively as possible by other people. But the goal is not necessarily, the final goal is to not be viewed as positively as possible by others. This is a ancillary goal, subsidiary goal. It's a supporting goal. It's not our main goal. Our main goal is to align ourselves with God. Okay, but we identify that relationships are important and we ought to do our best to maintain and to further them. So how do we do this? Well, let's understand first how people are perceiving us. People tend to make value judgments on the behaviors of others in two ways. So here I'm not looking at looks or any of these other things. I'm looking at how they judge the behaviors of other people's. So the first way is based on their personality, how they come across, their virtue, their morals, their values, the type of person that they are to others, their authenticity, their attitude towards life, how they treat other people, how they treat the world around them. We tend to view people in this is a more soft trait type of way. That's the one way that we judge people's behaviors. And the other way is based on objective facts, objective achievements, and objective successes. So in order to be viewed positively, then you ought to balance those two judgments. You ought to balance the soft trait judgment and the hard trait judgment. Hard trait judgment being the objective facts about your failures and successes. This could be how much money you make. This could be the awards that you've achieved. This could be, whether you like it or not, people are judging you on this. This could be your IQ, how clever you are. This could be whether you're fat or not, whether you take care of your health. As harsh as these things are to say, this is true, this is how people judge you. Then we ought to balance that with how we are coming across, with our social skills, with what type of person we are to other people, how we make them feel. Okay, so do you not see that by being arrogant, you think that you are alerting others to how grand you are, to your objective successes? But do you not see that you are actually alerting them to your lack of character, to the shortcoming of your personality, to how you fail on the soft trait front? Do you not see that by announcing your success, you are doing nothing for your self-image? Not self-image, you're doing nothing for your image, for the perception of yourself by others. What you are doing by announcing this is diminishing the perception that others have of you. You're diminishing it because you diminish it on the soft trait front. You show them how inauthentic you are. You show them how shallow you are. You show them how unworthy of their friendship you are. You show them how low value you are in a virtue standpoint. And this is not what we're after. Remember, our goal was to be viewed as highly as possible. And yet so many people waltz around in the heights of arrogance. And all that they achieve is the exact opposite to which they are pursuing. Isn't that so crazy? Isn't that so funny? Do not illustrate your lack of worthiness to be a friend or an acquaintance by telling everyone about your objective successes. And just know that there are no real benefits to seeking to bring up your objective successes. You might say, okay, yes, but regardless of all this that's going on, and I'm diminishing my personality and I'm diminishing their perception of me from the soft trait front, regardless of all this, George, I'm telling them how great I am. And whether they like it or not, they can't deny the facts. And to that I say that people will likely find out these facts regardless. And it is not the fact that you told them it that makes them believe it. It's whether or not it is a fact, irregardless of you telling them that it is or isn't the case. Just as you would never believe a Nobel Prize winner who tells you that they are not intelligent, you would also not believe a failure who tells you that they are a success. The thing I'm getting at here is people need evidence greater than the words that come out your mouth. Actions and reality, they do truly speak louder than words. Now, there is generally, in social settings at least, no right time to share your achievements. Let the conversation flow where it flows, but do not be compelled to subconsciously or consciously direct the conversation towards your achievements or towards your work or your success. Now, there are exceptions to this, and the exceptions is if you are in a job interview, say, or if you are pursuing capital funding from an investor and you need them to know that you're competent, or you need an employer to know about your skills, and you can't rely on them finding out over time because they're making a judgment on your employment in the interim. So these types of things, by all means, you can tell people the objective facts just to facilitate the process, but it does not serve you in a social setting to do the same. Do you not see how when you tell someone of your achievements, it does not further their understanding of how great you are, but rather it actively detracts. Objective facts remain objective, and so people will look for the truth regardless of what comes out your mouth. So don't give them reasons to judge you negatively. Don't give them reasons to give you a low scoring value on your virtue. Do not give them ways to diminish yourself when actually you're pursuing the opposite. How silly is that? It makes no sense. So to wrap it all up, we aren't all perfect and we all make errors that are antisocial, but for heaven's sake, please stop telling us about your achievements. You are doing nobody, especially yourself, any favors. Please shut up with it. Keep it to yourself. Show them how good you are on a soft trait front. Show them the virtue of your personality, of your character. Show them how great of a guy you are. Show them that you are worthy of being their friend.